What is up, Panther fans? It's your boy, the Professor, a.k.a. Tony Dunn, and this is the C3 Podcast brought to you by CarolinaCatChronicles.com. Thanks for joining us every Tuesday night where we bring you Panther news from a fan perspective. Bringing you that talk every week. We're glad to be here with you. I'm glad to be here with my homeboys. That freaking Puerto Rican. I feel like I'm a heavyweight, like a ring announcer. What is up, my man?
Hey, Tony Dunn, a.k.a. the Professor. It is a pure pleasure to be here. I'm back in action after a week down in Orlando with the Mouse. It's good to be back. You guys had a heck of a show last week. I hope I can only add to it this week.
Oh, we know you will. We know you will. And we got our boy, the Nomad, Mel Mayock. What is up, my man?
What's happening, Professor? It is my favorite night of the week, Tuesday night, talking Panthers with my boys. Can't wait to get it going, man. We actually got a Panther on the show tonight. Excited. Can't wait.
Yeah, I'm glad everyone could join us for the C3 Podcast, episode 15.10, Gettleman's Aces. We've got a great show tonight, guys. We've got an exclusive C3 interview with Panther linebacker and new free agent addition Jason Trusnik. I'm super excited to bring you guys that. We'll talk about what's hot on C3. And as always, we'll hit you with some finish that thought, fact or fiction, and deliver those frigid ice-up picks towards the end. Be sure, everyone, to follow us on Twitter, at @cat_chronicles. Be sure to like our Facebook page, Carolina Cat Chronicles. If you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and hit the sub up button. We appreciate it. And if you prefer to listen later, you can't catch the whole show, download the podcast on iTunes or Stitcher. While you're there, you might as well give us a like, a good rating. We would appreciate it. It will help us grow. It will help Panther Nation grow. Guys, before I want to get started, we need to give a Panther Nation applause and happy birthday to our boy, Panther fanatic Sean Ingram, who turns 21 tomorrow.
Oh, nice. This beer's for you, brother.
That applause goes on and on and on. Sean Ingram, you can follow our boy Panther fanatic Sean Ingram at SinGrams20. Sean, word of advice, easy on the Jaeger. Especially if you're at Chico's on your 21st birthday. And whatever time you're ready to start drinking, wait 3 hours. That's my advice. That's my advice. Joe, you ready to get started, Joe?
Let's do it.
I think, guys, we're going to start off with a little what's hot on C3.
Austria. Good day, mate. Let's put another shrimp on the barbie.
No, I'm just getting warmed up. Here's Charlie facing the fire, and there's George hiding in Big Daddy's pocket.
Dylan and Dylan, because I spit hot fire.
If I were the man I was 5 years ago, I'd take a flamethrower to this place.
What's hot on C3? Joe, it's time to talk about what's been going down on Carolina Cat Chronicles. I got a little message from my buddy Smoke Wagon today. He sent me this tweet right here, and I think if I can find it, I might even put it up on the screen. This is from NFL Draft Bites. Hashtag Buccaneers having talks with teams about sitting 22 and 24, about trading up from 34. So they're trying to jump up 10 spots. But here's another one. Panthers also looking to move up to 16 through 20. Teams jockeying for offensive tackles. Guys, Joe, what do you think about this? Is it coming? Is it finally coming to fruition, the trade-up scenario we've all wanted?
Well, it looks like there's at least a discussion going on, which says something. Gettleman obviously has his eye on somebody, probably several somebodies. We definitely need an offensive tackle. If moving up in the draft allows us to get the best offensive tackle we could get without being, a top 10 pick, and somebody's willing to make the move, I say let's go for it. I mean, that's a definite position we need to address.
Mel, is there a offensive tackle that's going to be there from around 15 to 20 that's worth trading up?
Man, I tell you, that's tough. You know what? I mean, Lael Collins is going to be in that range probably. DJ Humphreys is going to be in that range, and probably a couple others. But you know, maybe Andrews Pete might be falling that far, who's kind of a physical freak, and some other folks. But you know what? I've learned a long time ago, Professor. You take everything you hear this time of year with a grain of salt. It's also known as the lying season in draft football.
All right, I guess wouldn't it suck though if you traded up and you spent a lot of draft capital and then the guy that you traded up for doesn't win the starting job because you got a veteran Michael Orr there?
Unless they went with somebody that was injured, maybe give them a little bit of time. You know, maybe that's you never know.
I know what you're saying there, Aaron Ford.
Yeah, you mean like Todd?
Exactly.
Like Mr. Gurley. There you go.
I'm not
Gurley
a Gurley
man. You're not?
No, I'm kidding.
I am.
I would be for Gurley for sure.
You know, it's interesting. I mean, hey, the moves are going to be made right now. The Panthers have all the ammunition to do it. Thought it was an interesting look. We'll keep an eye on that as we go on. Another story has to do with DBs that's been hitting CarolinaCatChronicles.com. The Panthers, by the way, have met with 14 defensive backs, to be exact.
Just a few.
Trey Waynes, yeah, just a few. Trey Waynes, Quentin Rollins, Ronald Darby, just a couple, or a few, should I say. Mel, you put up a story after dropping the ball. The Panthers may have to target a QB early. What do you think about this? Are the odds of that? Are you really thinking that's a serious move at 25? Or
Well,
I mean, obviously, if we're not trading up.
Yeah. Now, well, you know, I really would not be surprised at all if we take a cornerback in the first or second round, possibly even the first. And the reason I say that is, you know, read the story, go to CarolinaCatChronicles.com, get more details. But it's basically saying, you know, General Manager David Gettleman says he believes in taking the free agency to set up the draft so that you don't have to reach and get somebody. We went out and got Michael Orr. We went out and we got Jonathan Joseph. So a tackle is not a dire need.
Oh, Jonathan Martin.
I'm sorry, yep. So you can argue that it's not a dire need. We're even better than we were last year there. We went out and we got some special teams players, wide receiver. The one position that we targeted and we dropped the ball on, we did not close the deal, was cornerback. So maybe we are in a position to have to reach just a little bit. That's the thinking. Wouldn't be surprised if Trey Waynes is there. Forget about it. He's the pick.
Joe, last year, you know, I was heavy on Bradley Roby. Like, I wanted Bradley Roby to be our pick at 20. What were we, 30? No, 28 or something like that?
28 last year.
28. I wanted to be Bradley Roby. He went right after us, I think, at 29 or 30. He was there, and I wanted him. And my logic behind this was that the drop from the top-tier cornerbacks that are first-rounders to the second-level guys, the second-tier guys, is bigger in cornerback than it is in receiver.
That's true.
So that's why I wanted the idea of is that if you're going to push for a guy that, you know, I mean, like a cornerback, if you get him in the second or third, you know, you can't really count on him to start. Maybe I was wrong because Bene, you know, stepped in and played so well. Maybe you can find that.
He is the exception, not the rule.
Right, that's for sure.
Joey, how do you feel about that? Do you see that same drop-off? And this is another thing that I wonder, too. That's why I don't like the idea of left tackle in the first round if you don't get one of the elite. I feel like the guy at 28 and the guy at 44 is about the same.
Oh, man. I don't know.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, I understand what you're saying. You're saying that there's a greater drop-off at DB at offensive tackle than DB.
No, DB greater drop-off for DB. So why don't you just get the offensive tackle at 44?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if he's going to be the same guy.
Right. I mean, if that's the case, then yes. You know, if you're comparing apples to apples. But you have to factor in what moves are made prior to your pick. You know, if the right guy's there at 25, or if we move up and we get, say, 18, if the right guy's there at 18, you got to pull the trigger, you know, but you don't want to reach. So if the defensive back is there, if he's the better of the two players, you got to make that move, because cornerback is a position of need. I mean, there's some legitimacy to making the pick. You're not just making the pick to make the pick. So yeah, I mean, if that's the case, take the corner over the tackle if you feel that if it's a better value.
Susan says she'd be surprised if we traded up, and she says she doesn't think it's Dave Gettleman's style. Mel, you trade up in this case. Is there a cornerback that you could trade that you might want to trade up for?
Well, there is, but you know, you're stealing or using the argument that I put out in another article. I can't even remember which one now, but I really think that if we're going to trade up, it's going to be for somebody rare at their position. And actually, I think we could probably get him at 25. But I think the person you want to get is the best if you got an elite player at a shallow position in the draft, and that is Landon Collins, the safety out of Alabama. The guy is a difference maker and a playmaker, and the difference between him and the second best safety is, you know, kind of like you and every other podcast leader out there. I mean, the drop-off is huge.
I agree. That is like a cliff. It's the face of a mountain. Okay, well, man, going safety that high, boy, he better change the whole defensive dynamic.
He would. He would be like Luke Kuechly at safety. That dude is
he that good? Joey, you think he's that good?
He's pretty good. I mean, he is pretty good.
Didn't he hurt his shoulder at the end?
I think so. I think he was banged up at the end of the year. But,
you know, I mean, he's not invincible.
But he is a heck of a playmaker, man. He's a heady guy. You know what I mean? He uses his brains as much as his brawn.
He's a big hitter, too.
Yeah.
My buddy at work is a huge Alabama fan. Like, the only sport he watches is Alabama football. There's no other games. He's not even, like, that much into sports, but he'll watch, you know, he knows Alabama football. He doesn't know anything about any other sport. But I tell you one thing, well, he does know about sports because he's a health teacher, so I guess that would be. But he was talking about the end, like their whatever bowl they made, or the how Landon Collins was knocking people's helmets off, dude, like in the punt return game, like blowing brothers up full speed, and kids coming up with no heads on. You know what I'm saying? So he lays them out. All right, I think we got just one or two more things to talk about when it comes to what's hot on C3 right now. There's a ton actually going on. There's too much to talk about in this segment right here. Charlie Casarelli, guys, continues his baseless hate of Cam Newton. In a tweet last week, Charlie Casarelli said that Jameis Winston was better than, let me see, I don't have the tweet on hand, was better than Cam Newton, RG3, and who was the other guy? There was one other quarterback. Oh, Derek Carr. And then he said he's better than them right now, but not better than Stafford or who's another quarterback like Stafford. He didn't even say Luck's name. Stafford or somebody like that. Yes, Bradford. So my point is this is not Charlie Casarelli's first time. Why does he got to bring Cam Newton into this discussion right here? What does Cam Newton have to do with Jameis Winston comparatively is my first problem. My second problem is this, is why Derek Carr, RG3, and Cam Newton? Why not the first pick quarterback? Where's Andrew Luck in this, right? He's not mentioned. And how are you going to be saying, am I out of line by saying this is crazy because Winston hasn't even played a NFL snap just because he looks good?
No, you're definitely not out of line.
Well, did you see him at his pro day? saying he looked good might be an exaggeration. I hear he's a little flabby around the middle. There might be a little question about him being in shape.
Oh, everybody says that. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think
I'm just going to talk trash about him because he's going to the NFC South. He's a good player, right? He's probably a better prospect right now than Cam was coming out of school because he's done so much more under center than Cam did. But there's no way in the world he's better than Cam today. Cam runs circles around.
Is his ceiling higher than Cam's?
No way. Not even close.
He's not the athlete that Cam is.
No. I mean, what did he run, like a 12.5-second 40-yard dash?
They timed him with the calendar.
I hate Charlie Casarelli. It's not my first time writing on him. This goes all the way back when he used to say that he would have taken Kevin Cobb 100 times out of 100 times over Cam Newton. And he said that in 2010 when Cam Newton was drafted, right? 2011.
Yep.
My point is that Charlie Casarelli, you look more like a tuna casserole, and you smell like it too, brother. You don't even need a job. That's hot takes. Look, leave the hot takes for jackies like me, that are going to be on the internet talking junk about everybody. But Casarelli sucks. That's why he was fired. He was a hack GM. Now he's a hack NFL analyst. I don't like it.
You're totally butchering his name, too. You're doing that intentionally, though, aren't you?
He deserves it.
I'm not. What's his name?
Casserly.
Casserly.
Yeah.
But he's so bad.
Casarelli to me.
He's so bad that we call him Casarelli.
No, yeah, man, I don't even care about his name.
Sounds like
Casserole.
Hey, Professor, is that an Ice Up Sun candidate, maybe? We'll see.
Maybe.
Stick around. End of the show. We'll find out who the Ice Up Sun picks are.
All right, I think it's time to move on, and it's time to play a little Finish That Thought.
Funny. Sometimes I just don't get people. Human beings are so weird. Who talks in front of a camera by themselves for fun? We thought that was a good idea.
That's great.
Ideas. Some of these things that you use every day. Who's the guy or a girl that was like,
this makes no sense.
good idea.
That's a good idea.
All right, it's time for Finish That Thought, where I pose a thought to my boys, and they finish it. It's easy. It's a simple game. Aaron, I'll let you start tonight. News that the Panthers are interested in trading up is...
Exasperating.
Why is that? Tell me why it's exasperating.
Like I said, this time of year, man, it's lying season. I think we might be throwing a little bit of bait out there to get our NFC South foe to spend a little bit of draft capital to move ahead of us. I'm not buying it. We'll see. I think I agree with Susan. I don't think it's Gettleman style to move up that early in the draft, in the first round. It's such a deep draft. I don't see the need to go up 7-8 spots. But we'll see. I've been wrong before. Once.
Joe, news that the Panthers are interested in trading up is
wrong, because we need to
have 9 picks.
Yes, we need to get 9 picks just so we can bring in some help on special teams, some more additional help on special teams, and bring in some youth. And the good thing about, I was looking at like Seattle, they have the most picks this year, I think. And by taking those selections, you're able to keep your salary cap down as well.
That's right.
So I think it would be a great move for us to use all 9 picks and bring in some young, fresh bodies. We'll get younger as a team, and we'll help to, get some more cap space as well.
That's a great point, Joe.
All right. I'm going to say news the Panthers are interested in trading up is not only about the first round, or not even probably about the first round. Maybe this move is going to come in the second or the third or the fourth. You might actually see the Panthers move twice in this draft to get the guy they want in the second, maybe in the fourth round, or the third and the fifth, or something like that. So I don't think it's regulated to the first round.
I agree. Now, I did hear some rumblings today. I have no idea if it's true, but I heard some rumblings today. You might see the Panthers actually package a deal, trade up, and get a second pick at the back end of the first round. That would be exciting, huh?
That would be awesome.
Yeah, that would
That
be.
would be awesome.
Hmm.
Okay, Joe, you went to this place called Disneyland, right?
Disney World, yes.
Disney World. You went to Disney World. I'm going this Christmas. You probably spent a nice bit of coin.
Mickey
Yeah.
Mouse is a pickpocket, man.
All right. So now that you're gonna come home and you're gonna still need to get stuff and probably get it at a discount or the best price possible, maybe even saving a little time in the process. How are you gonna buy your stuff now and try to save a dime?
Well, since I'm always on CarolinaCatChronicles.com, I've noticed that there was a link to Amazon up at the tabs at the upper portion of the screen. And lo and behold, I had access to Amazon.com right through the C3 website. And that's where I go to make all my purchases from Amazon, which is an amazing store. They have everything you could possibly want and more in every color. That's where you can help C3. Us group of guys, this trio right here in front of you, you can help us grow Panther Nation by going to our website, clicking on the Amazon link, and doing your shopping there. It doesn't cost you anything extra, but it does help this small business and Panther Nation grow.
I agree. I mean, what I recommend to every listener right now is to drink in Prime. Just drink a big bottle of wine and then go to Carolina Cat Chronicles and go shop on Amazon. It's fun. You wake up and got all this cool stuff in 2 days. Might have to keep drinking for 2 days. Aaron, sometimes I like to go to a Carolina football game, and I've been wanting to take this on the road. Where would you go if you wanted to go see a Carolina football game with a group of insane Panther fans on the road?
Oh, man, there's only one way to do it, only one place to do it, and that is roaringriot.com. These guys have got the coolest concept going today, man. You want to go on the road with a bunch of rabid Panther fans, take over a stadium.
Roaring, it's a riot.
Roaring Riot. Easy for me to say, right? But 450 Panther fans going to Jacksonville. That's crazy. That is insane.
We're doing a takeover in Rivertown.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
I mean, that's more than Jaguar fans.
Right.
All right. So you guys go check them out and be sure to go on the road this year. Go catch a game. Guys, now it's time. It's the time we've all been waiting for, and that is we have exclusive interview with Jason Trusnik, one of the more recent free agent acquisitions, if not the most recent, linebacker from Miami, who's a special teams ace. Guys, do you know anything about Jason Trusnik before tonight? I think you do. Are you excited to have him here? Mel.
Dude, I'm thrilled, man. You know, this guy is awesome, man. He's your old school, hard-nosed special teams type of guy. And I got a feeling we might come up with a pretty cool nickname for him, as we always do at C3.
Joe, I'm going to go ahead and jump in this interview. I know you're excited. Here it goes.
All right, let's do it.
Exclusive. Now I'd like to welcome one of the newest Panther free agent additions, linebacker Jason Trusnik. Thanks for joining the C3 podcast.
Hey, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Glad to be part of it.
Man, we're excited to see this signing. What we want to know just so far, what are your impressions of the team from an organizational standpoint?
Yeah, I think after visiting earlier this week, I think it's just you look at the organization. I think they got a lot of pieces set, and the organization's just first class from the GM to the head coach to the coaches and everybody else, and just seeing the way they work together, their attitude towards winning, and to see what they've been able to do too is just it explains what kind of organization they have and why they've been to the playoffs the last 2 years.
How much did that go into the reason you signed with the Carolina Panthers?
it definitely was a big reason why I signed. Just you want to be a part of a great organization that, they're doing the little things right. They're people that care about people. And secondly, they have, like I said, the right attitude about winning. So when you have those couple things, just the care, the attitude, and honestly doing the right things and having the right people around, that makes a great organization and, keeps the team camaraderie and the coaches and stuff intact. And, when you have those couple things, and everybody's doing the right things, then, winning produces.
Coach Ron Rivera stated after you signed with the team that he expects you to come in and be a leader. Even though he is new to us, he's got veteran savvy to him. That's some pretty high praise and some pressure. How do you kind of take on that responsibility of being the new guy and playing some sort of leadership role? And what do you think he means by that?
Yeah, I sat down and had a chance to talk to Coach, and I feel like this time of my career at 9 years, going on my 9th year is, first I think it's just about going into a new place, and I've said it before, it's just earning the respect, and that's from fellow teammates that are there, new teammates coming in, and the coaching staff. I think that's the first foremost thing that you got to do, throughout this off season. And then from there, it's just, being a leader is just, I've been able to do that on different teams and, stepping up on special teams to start off. I know that this is an area that I know I can improve in, to help this team and bring that leadership role that maybe is missing or maybe is there and make it that much better. And also just being a leader on, defense and the team itself. I know they got some great leadership as it is, especially in the linebacker room from what I hear. So just to be part of that and grow the leadership with myself and the team, I think I can, definitely an asset.
Joe, that's the first we got. I'm going to break this interview up into parts so we can talk a little bit about it. So, guys, we bring in a guy that's been in the league now for going on his 9th year, and somehow he's had a good long career, and he's made it by being a hard-nosed special team player. What do you think about, were you surprised, were you interested in this emphasis that Ron Rivera placed on leadership with Jason Trusnik?
I think it's a wonderful thing. Being a veteran like he is, he can come in and help get things straight on the special team side of our unit. Because last year we were just awful. We held our breath every time something was going on special teams. Anytime that special teams unit was out there, we were scared. So to see them focus on bringing in talent and veteran talent, not just young guys, but a nice mix of youth and experience, I think we're going to be significantly improved on the special team side of the ball. I'm excited about that.
Mel, do you think that leadership is needed on the special teams?
Oh, definitely. And just like Joe said, man, that was the weak link in our team last year. You look back at the Minnesota game, 2 blocked punts in the first half. It was ridiculous. And how many punts did we, give up for big gains, flipping the field? We need somebody. And who Jason's replacing basically is Chase Blackburn. And Chase Blackburn was that veteran linebacker that gave us that steely vet there at the linebacker position, but he was not a special teams ace. Right. And his time has come and gone. So I think this is an upgrade at that position. He's a little bit younger. Hey, and you know what? In a pinch, he can come play linebacker. I think he started 4 games for the Miami Dolphins, who have a good defense at linebacker.
I think he had 3 fumble recoveries, too. Let's hear what he's got to say about that, too. What do you think about the linebacker unit we have here in Carolina?
I think it's great. Between Kuechly and Davis, I think they're, two of probably the better linebackers together working in the NFL right now. And, obviously they've had their awards and the things they've done great success in the league so far. And it'll probably be continued success the way they're, I've heard the way they work and things like that. So I'm definitely excited to be part of that. And the coaching staff, the defensive coordinator, the way they do things, I think they're doing things right and taking advantage of, what their players do best. And, I think when you do that, you get great attitudes from the players and, they want to fly around and have fun and make plays.
What do you think you can contribute to this unit?
To the defensive unit?
Yes, to the linebacker core specifically.
Yeah, I mean, first off, I think, first bring that veteran leadership of, just the, right off the bat, it's just the hard work, the effort, the day-to-day activity that I'm going to bring, study habits, each and every day to practice. And there's one thing, I'm always fighting for a starting position. I know I can play. I know what it takes to be a professional. And as far as that, it's, through camp and this off season, I plan on fighting for a starting position. And if I don't get it, but I know the guy in front of me is going to make better because there's in the NFL there's always someone chasing you. So I'm going to continue to better myself, better the group, bring leadership, and that hard work to it.
Yeah, Coach talked about how that competition is something that they really want to promote within the team this season. You know what I think about this, guys, is the professionalism.
Yeah.
I feel like he's learned how to make the NFL a job. And not a career, should we say, a career. Not something that is work that you don't want to do, but work that you do well. And I think that's when he says, look, I'm going to prepare to be a starter. I'm going to chase after that guy. Gosh, it's got to be tough chasing after Luke Kuechly. You know what I'm saying? if that's the guy in front of you at middle linebacker.
Well, who just got better? A.J. Klein. I guarantee you A.J. Klein's putting in about 30 extra minutes a day training because of this signing.
Mm-hmm.
That's an excellent point. I mean, you can't take it for granted. Then you got Adarius Glanton too.
Yeah. Competition, man, that's good.
And maybe, if anything, he's a guy that can help those guys more in the film study and things. I mean, while I'm sure Kuechly will saddle up beside anybody that is, well studied, because he's known for being a film guru guy, like a hard worker.
And junkie.
It's going to help. Yeah, it's going to help while he's working on his game, he's not old enough yet to maybe be a teacher while he can teach. So this guy might be able to take some of that load from Thomas Davis and Kuechly.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Very good point.
All right, let's jump into the next segment. Here's Jason Trusnik, the Carolina Panthers. I want to know is how big of a difference is it like between special teams and playing linebacker when you go from the defensive unit to teams play? Is that like just a completely different mindset?
Yeah, I mean, a little bit. The defensive side is a little bit different than the special team side, but at the end of the day, if you do your study, which you have to do on knowing the offense, but also knowing each and every guy in your special teams unit. So I think if you do your study and you do it right, and so when you take this field and you fall back on the things and you do it with great effort, you're smart, hard work, things like that, you become a ball player and you can win on that one-on-one matchup. Because 9 times out of 10, it's a one-on-one matchup you're doing, whether it's defense, special teams, and it's up to you to make that decision and be a playmaker.
Carolina ranked among the league worst in special teams last season, and it looks like they've really committed to trying to turn that around. They brought in a lot of guys, you included, that they've referred to as special team aces. How do you guys, when a team is like that, where they statistically rank so poorly on special teams, how do you guys go about righting the ship this season when it comes to special teams?
First off, I think it's, about taking it to a new level. You kind of, when you've not been there and been to the top, I've been fortunate to be around some great special teams groups from Miami to Cleveland to New York. We've kind of, I've been around some great groups, some great coaches, and, I'm excited to bring that and what I know, little techniques, and just the mental side to special teams, because I think you bring you bring that mental side and that full out 100% effort to the special teams, you can be great. And I think when we can gain this year, just bring a small group of guys that care about special teams, that love it, live it every day, and want to make big plays. That's when we can do some great things this year, and I'm looking forward to it. looking forward to pulling some guys and doing the things right and making big plays and just being a solid group too. Because I think when you're solid, you can control the game a little bit and add that big play to the game.
Joe, you gotta like what you hear.
Oh man, it's fantastic. It gets me excited, man. Because thinking about how poor we were last year on special teams, it was dreadful. I hated seeing that unit step onto the field.
It was terrible.
I was worried about a turnover. I was worried about
big returns.
I was worried about
a block
punts. Yeah, all that. Every time they stepped on the field, it was a concern. And then you hear this guy talking and how much pride he takes in the work he does and wanting to make sure that the guys around him take that same pride and are putting out that same effort that he's giving. That's a leader right there. And that kind of a person is going to make your team a lot better.
Well put, man. Good Lord, you are excited. Jason Trusnik has got Joe, that freaking Puerto Rican, pumped up. Mel, how do you feel?
Dude, man, I'm excited too. You know who he reminds me of? And, growing up, I hate to admit it if anybody gets offended out there, but I was a Dallas Cowboys fan growing up. You know who he reminds me of is Bill Bates. He was just that guy that he did nothing but just run down. He was the first guy down on special teams, and he took pride in what he was doing. That's what it sounds like this guy's all about, man. It's got me excited too, got me lathered up. How many weeks till football? I'm ready. I'm ready.
22 or something like that, 23.
Like that, let's do it.
I think what I like about what I'm hearing from this is that you got a guy that is athletic enough to play middle linebacker. Is he a dominant middle linebacker? Obviously not, right?
Right.
And I hope that isn't seen as a knock. But what I'm saying is this: he's athletic enough to play defense, but he's got the veteran. The experience that really is going to play well in the special teams. I think one of maybe the mistakes that the Carolina Panthers have at special teams, and I don't know enough about it to know if this is the case, it's just a hunch, that we've asked kind of some underexperienced younger guys to play important roles on the special teams, and there hasn't been a combination of veteran leadership and a guy who can actually run down the field too. You can't just put a veteran on the field and him not be able to perform and say rally the special teams.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that maybe we were underexperienced, we were young and just bad. And now this gives us some experience and a guy that can play.
Don't forget, we got a new coach too.
And I was going to say, and poorly coached.
Yeah.
That was, I hate to say it, but it is what it is.
So maybe he can be like a coach on the field.
Mm-hmm.
In the huddle.
Sure, I would agree. I would say 100%. And then you take the other guys, the other pieces of the special teams players that we've added, Teddy Williams and the other guy that played at Philadelphia.
I sure would like to talk to him.
Kurt Coleman, and then there's the Trodman guy.
Yeah.
And then you got and you also got Ted Ginn.
Right. Exactly. So we should be significantly improved on special teams.
Just the punt return game, and if we can get some guys down, Teddy Williams on the gunner spot, he's going to be fast and get down there in a hurry.
Definitely.
So, all right, let's get back. We got one more. We got actually two more parts of the interview with Jason Trusnik. You're listening to Carolina Panther linebacker Jason Trusnik. You came into the league, I guess, I don't want to say humble football beginnings, but you came from a D3 school. You were undrafted, and you've managed to not only crack several NFL rosters, but really hang around for is it 8 years now in the league?
Yes, going into the ninth, yep.
Going into the ninth. All right, so Carolina has their share of guys that have that are undrafted, that have played important or that are playing important roles on the team, much like you have throughout your career. Corey Brown, Andrew Norwell, fellow linebacker Adarius Glanton are all undrafted guys that we've asked to contribute a lot from. If you were going to, I know that you guys don't go around giving guys advice about their careers and things, but what type of advice do you have to an undrafted player who's really trying to stay in the league and find that continued success like you have?
When you look at that, and to be honest, I think I've given the advice a lot to guys that help them out want to see this league really evolve each and every year. Guys, obviously retire from injury, just get old and things like that, and new guys are stepping in. So it's the whole process. The whole NFL is. So for me, I think just telling guys, man, you really try to find your niche and find, what your niche is, and whether it's a team, the NFL, whatever it is, that can make you last. It's a very short time of your life that you can, obviously do some great things, both, especially as far as yourself financially, and set yourself up for, a good life. So I think right off the bat is just try to find that niche, and, and just never be outworked, because when you can do that, you find that niche, as I have. You always fight for a starting position. You want to be a starter in the league on defense, but, I know my niche has been the leader and, one of the main guys on special teams, each team I've been a part of. So, I take that role. I take it with pride, and, I give it my all each and every training camp, because you never know when the last one's going to be. So, when you can do that, and you can, put your head up and say that, you've kind of left it all out there and you found your little niche, they'll find you, and you'll be around for a while. The guys that take those short corners and things like that kind of weed themselves out.
Yeah, man, that's some fantastic advice, and, man, it's really paid off from you, and you've really had an impressive career, and we're glad to have you in Carolina. I got one last question. We got one last question we're going to ask him before we get off, but, what he said that really stuck out to me is never be outworked.
Right.
There you go.
Right.
And I know from experience with myself is that hard work is really 90% of the sauce. I mean, maybe I don't have the percentages right, but in my life, hard work is what has proven to pay off even more than skill or talent is. And for this guy to be in the league for 9 years and be undrafted, I think that's a testament to what that can do for you.
Huge. It's an incredible testament to the power of hard work and what it can get for you.
Excited to have that dynamic. All right, Mel, I can't get away without asking a guy if they've had a nickname.
Please do.
So,
go for it.
All right, this is what I did. On the around CarolinaCatChronicles.com, we like to have fun. Like I said, we tackle everything from the fan perspective, because without fans, this is just a kid's game. And we're big on nicknames here. I go by the Professor because in my real career, I'm an instructor at a college. My co-host of the podcast is that freaking Puerto Rican, and he's my former college roommate. And we've named guys for the Panthers, Ben Wickery. We call him Sticky Wicky or the Fed Chief. Do you have any nicknames that people joke with you? Maybe your friends growing up called you?
I don't have, I think, one that's maybe as good as those. I guess everybody just growing up just called me, Truz or Big Truz. I was the oldest of three, so I kind of came from the Big Truz with, using the last name and stuff. But that's it, man. But, I'm open for suggestions, and, I'd love to hear what you come up with someday.
All right, well, I got two for you, and they're in a work in progress because we've whipped them together on short notice. I don't know if you're familiar with the comedian J.P. Smooth, who he was on Curb Your Enthusiasm, and so we're thinking right now you could either be J.T. Smooth, or I think I like this one, the Carolina Trusnik.
Okay, I like both of those. I'll have to. I think I could ride with both. The second one I think is kind of cool, being in the Carolina area. So, we'll have to work that out.
Yeah, you're going to be playing at the Bank of America Stadium. We also call that the Vault. So we expect you to contribute a lot this year on special teams, crack that defensive linebacker rotation, and lock down the Vault defensively. I'd like to thank you so much for joining the C3 podcast, Mr. Trusnik.
Hey, thanks for having me, and I'm excited to get started here in Carolina for sure.
All right, well, we're going to catch up with you at training camp, and so you listen for us. We'll be screaming from the background, Carolina Trusnik.
Okay, I'll be there, and I can't wait to hear it.
All right, have a great day, sir. That was Jason Trusnik, Carolina Panther linebacker, special team ace, the guy brought in one of the big pieces of the puzzle to turn around the special teams. Joe, C3, talk about humble beginnings.
Yeah, coming out of nowhere. That's right. Division III caliber podcasters. Not even. We were halftime hangouters.
Yes. Now we've got our second player interview. We've had several interviews we've had prospects now. We've had media members. Mel, does this excite you? Is C3 the place to be?
I'll tell you, man, that's the second Carolina Panther that's been on this podcast that said, man, that is a good nickname. That, you know, hey, Sticky Wiki, he rolled with it, right? I mean, that was pretty cool. I got to tell you, I got, you know, a little birdie tells me there's another Panther interview coming up next week. And, man, just being a part of C3 right now is a dream come true, man. There's just so much fun stuff going on. We got some big plans coming up for the next several months. It's the best place to be on Tuesday nights and really every other night.
Yeah, guys, Joe, I don't know. I think I sent you the news. I've been so busy today. It's been a whirlwind getting the show ready, which wasn't till the end, getting some other stuff ready. But I had an opportunity today to talk with another Gettleman special team ace, Teddy Williams.
Is he always ready, Teddy?
Always ready, Teddy?
Always ready, Teddy. And guess what, man? He ran over to my house.
And he left and got back home before he answered the phone.
Yeah. I mean, he ran from Jacksonville, Florida, and made it to my house by the time the phone ended up ringing. But I'm excited, guys, because we got another interview next week with another special team ace to talk about how we can bring it around. And you can bet we had a blast today, me and Teddy, talking about nicknames. So everyone, check out that next week, Carolina Panthers, the Carolina Cat Chronicles C3 podcast, bringing you another Panther player to talk specifically to you, Panther Nation. And this one is fun, just as good as tonight. Man, Jason Trusnik interview was great.
That was really cool.
Seems like the right kind of guy we want on our team. You know, the kind of player that is going to come in and make a difference in all the positive ways. Going to bring no negativity. Everything he's doing is going to benefit the team and benefit the community. And that's what we want.
Yeah, I cannot agree more. Is that when you talk to these guys, I tell you what, there's not an ounce of dumb jock in any of the dudes we have talked to this point. So that tells you a little bit about NFL caliber players. You know, Bene, successful. Jason Trusnik, successful already. And it has all, I mean, certainly the physical talent is important, but they've got a lot to work with upstairs.
And you have to in this league. You really do. To be successful long term, you have to have it upstairs too. Just as much as you do in your body. You got to have it upstairs.
I agree. All right, let's jump ahead to the next segment. We got to still play a little. Backdoor Fiction! That's right. It's Factor Fiction, Backdoor Fiction, whatever you want to call it. This is where I pose a statement to you, and you tell me if it's fact or fiction. Joe, I'm going to have you go first. Did you get to see my story I put up about Cam Newton's attire?
Yes.
Okay, so here, fact or fiction, Cam Newton's attire went entirely too far when he slipped on the Uggs. Fact or fiction?
Fact. He can't pull that off. That's Tom Brady's wear. What's he doing rocking Tom Brady wear? He's Cam Newton, for crying out loud. But he has made some questionable fashion decisions in the past. This wouldn't be the first time.
No, not at all. But man, to me, this was harder to defend than the capris because of the Tom Brady connection.
Right.
Right? Because of that. Mel, fact or fiction, Cam Newton's attire went entirely too far when he slipped on the pair of Uggs.
Well, for all the C3 followers out there, you know last week in our Ice Up Sun segment, Cam Newton was my Ice Up Sun candidate for his attire, right?
2 weeks ago, because you told a kid last week to ice
Oh,
up.
yeah, you're right. You're right. That was 2 weeks ago. So, I've called Cam Newton out on his fashion
Faux
sense,
pas.
his fashion faux pas. But I'm gonna flip it over, put it in reverse. What's that song you got? Right?
Oh,
Drop it, flip
lay
it.
down, flip it, and reverse it.
There you go. I'm going to say it's fiction, man. He did not go too far, and I'll tell you why. Because he is Cam Newton. I don't care what the man wears, right? As long as he goes up 6'5", 245 with 2 healthy ankles and is playing at the top of his capabilities, he could wrap himself in a big old bubble and run over his friends on Easter Sunday if he wants to. Well, wait a minute.
That looks
He did
awesome.
that too. That was awesome.
I would do that, and I'm totally cool with that.
I think we need to have a C3 party that does that.
I'm so scared that he would have hurt himself in some way. Wouldn't it have been tragic? That would have been tragic. You don't laugh
Imagine
and
the
think it's
YouTube
fun.
video that would have made.
Plus, I want to point out that.
That's the safest activity you can do.
But I got to tell you, hey, Professor, C3 unofficial fashion consultant, Abby, has pointed out that if we critique Cam Newton, she's going to critique our attire. So I'm going to say fiction. I'm going to stay safe when it comes to Abby and her critiques.
I always be keeping it fresh. I'm going to say this is a total fact. Look, Cam Newton, you have this is the number 2 of sacred fashion laws. I've got 3 fashion laws, guys, and I'm not even that fashionable. Number 1, you don't wear black and brown together. They don't match. Number 2, you don't wear Uggs are ugly. The more balls and fur and dangly mess on it are ugly, particularly when you live in North Carolina and it's 90 degrees in January and you're wearing boots or you're wearing them in the
It's the Georgia
summer. All right, number 3 is capris. Commit, people. Pants or shorts. Let's pick one. So I'm going to say fact. Joe, I want to get a little fact or fiction on this. Black and brown match, fact or fiction?
I'm going to have to say fact.
They do match?
Let me explain why.
Okay. All right,
because the Cleveland Browns have been a black eye to the NFL forever.
Ooh.
So that's why they match. We see it every year. We see the black eye of the NFL being the Cleveland Browns. So there you go.
Oh, nice.
Mel, you dress up every now and then, wear a shirt and tie, get out there on the road. Black and brown, you ever wear them together? Fact or fiction? Do they match? Match.
Fact. They do. But only if you have swagger. So I understand why you think it doesn't.
Very nice, Mel. Very nice. You just took Tony
Black
out.
and brown match is total fiction. They don't, folks. Go around to anybody that wears a black pair of pants and puts a brown belt on. It looks stupid. The Marines, they don't wear brown shoes when they wear navy blue dress blues, and I think there might even be a little black in their uniform. Right?
In the dress blues, yeah.
Yeah. So for me, this is a simple case closed. Is that black and brown do not go together. But guys, you can make fun of me. You can talk about my swagger, but you can never outdo the quote that one of my students, one of my young Padawans said to me once when I said this in my classroom. Because I always say, ladies, if you got yoga pants on and brown boots on right now, cover your ears, earmuffs. You got your matching earmuffs with you. Black and brown don't go well together. And the student said to me, he said, Mr. Dunn, real serious, he said, don't ever discourage the wearing of yoga pants. Touche, sir. Touche. All right. That's what we got for the show tonight. We got to hit up some ice up picks. But before that is, guys, you ever want to buy a ticket to an event similar to everything? you know, if you want to go see the Charlotte Hornets tease you with making it into playoffs at the 8th spot with no wins,
Lost again tonight.
gosh, what a sad sight that is. Maybe you want to go see something else other than a basketball game. Maybe you want to go see a concert. If you do, I suggest you go to CarolinaCatChronicles.com, look on the sidebar of the homepage, and click the Ticket Monster dude. That little monster right there can bring you tickets with no fees, and it's cheap. So go do it. Mel, I know you like to go see baseball games. Are you going to go to Ticket Monster anytime soon?
I am. I'm getting ready to buy a bunch of tickets to go see the Colorado Rockies play coming up in June. But also, you know what April 17th is?
The injury combine?
No. The 17th is when the actual schedule for the NFL comes out.
The date schedule.
Oh, yeah.
So you know where people will be playing where. And as soon as those tickets go online, all you C3 fans out there, you need to go to CarolinaCatChronicles.com, click on the Ticket Monster button. Not only are you going to be doing Carolina Cat Chronicles a favor because we get a small little piece of that helps us grow and to do more exciting things for all our fans, but you actually get a better deal than you would get if you went to any of those other ticket places. I actually saved, I think it was $170 I saved on 7 tickets to the opening Monday Night Football game, San Diego, Arizona Cardinals last year that I went to. You get really good deals on Ticketmonster, but go through Carolina Cat Chronicles. You'll save money, and you'll help Carolina Cat Chronicles grow.
Joe, how your Yankees? They teed off yesterday, right?
Yeah, it was ugly. It was
ugly.
Yeah, it was 6-1.
Really?
Who'd they play?
They played Toronto.
Toronto's supposed to be good this year, though.
Yeah. Well, they were good yesterday, that's for sure.
Well, I guess if you want to go see those terrible Yankees, you can always go to Ticket Monster. How about this? Is the Cubs? You know my Cubs. I was out watching the Wisconsin Kentucky game, and my buddy, we went to the bathroom, right, and like that typical just male line of stars, and he said, "I heard your Cubs are gonna be up this year, like doing well." I was like, "What are you even talking about?" You know what I'm saying? Like, no way.
Isn't the Cubs motto, "There's always next year"?
You know what? Usually we get to say that usually we get 2 hours on opening day to say that before we have to start saying that. So we're laughing about this joke about like how many dudes have been in a urinal line that said, "Hey, I heard this was the Cubs up year, an uptick." You know, God, that must have been replicated a billion times. But here for me, Joe, the Cubs, Jason Lester got lit up. Well, lit up. He gave up 3 runs. Panther with the Cubs scoreless. Opening day once again was very Chicago-ish.
My Dodgers won. That's all I gotta say.
Dodgers. Joe.
Big payroll.
You know what?
That's the stupidest thing I ever heard.
Now, stop talking about your opinion on black and brown going together.
That's right. That's right. That's what I should have said to y'all. All right, guys, it is time for the Ice Up Picks of the Week, where we tell someone out there to get it together, to toughen up, to ice up, son. Did you guys bring some frigid cold picks this week?
Oh, yes.
All right, who wants to go first? Who's chomping at the bit?
I'll go first. All right. You know, the NFL is about as successful of a sports league as you could get. They have billionaire owners who make multimillionaires out of players and upper management. They have a commissioner who brought in $44 million last year. So, you know, that's big money for running a sports league, for crying out loud. So, you know, there was the NFL meetings a couple of weeks back. One proposal was to bring in cameras for sideline replays and goal line plays in the end zone. With technology where it's at today, I thought that was a fantastic idea. You know, bringing in these cameras specifically for these plays so you can make the right call every time.
Even if it was Bill Belichick's idea.
Even if it was Bill Belichick's idea, that brings a certain level of assuredness. You know, there's not going to be those, well, coulda, woulda, shoulda talks. You know, you're going to be able to get it right every time. That is an improvement to the game. With such a well-marketed and planned game, any improvement to it is only going to make it better. You know, and as good as it is, it's hard to improve on something as good as it is. So when the owners come back and say, oh, we can't afford to put those cameras in, it makes me crazy, because you have billionaire owners trying to tell me that they can't afford to implement these little cameras in their stadium end zones. Are you kidding me?
What does that even mean?
I know that doesn't make any sense. What do you mean you can't afford it? You mean
that's like them not leaving a tip.
I know it really is, or applying for welfare. You know what I'm saying? I mean, come on.
Or asking a city for $25 million for renovations.
Thank you.
Right. I mean, come on, man. It's just ridiculous. So I say to these owners who have more money than they could ever spend in their lifetime, so much so that they bought an NFL team, and they still have money after they purchased it, I say to you, cheapskate, miserly NFL owners, ice up.
Ooh, nice.
Well done. Well
done. Played. Well played.
Mel, you got an ice up pick for us?
I do. You got a picture for me for those out there watching? All right. Man, you know, we all did stupid things when we were young. You know, and I tend to give people a pass, and I'm not saying this guy shouldn't be able to play, but the guy's got to come to reality real quick. And this seems to happen every single year. A top-flight, talented guy who's got the world by the tail, who's in a job interview process, getting ready to cash in on his lifelong dream, gonna make millions, but then he decides that partying is a little bit more important. Here's a guy. Have you ever heard of a guy named Kenneth Lamar Williams?
No.
I don't think you have either. So, you know, another ice up topic, I think another ice up son topic could be, why is a guy that's named Kenneth Lamar Williams go by the name of P.J. Williams? I don't know. Maybe he likes to drink
the frequency, Kenneth? Maybe he doesn't like to feel like a nerd.
Or maybe he likes to drink P.J.
Maybe. Drinking.
3 a.m. in Tallahassee on Friday morning. This guy, in the middle of the biggest time in his life, 3 o'clock in the morning, he's driving through campus, or right near campus at Florida State University, 3 a.m., and he stops at a green light.
He had to check his text messages.
You know, and he's swerving all over the road. He's driving with a suspended license.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, come on, Kenneth Lamar Williams. Go by Kenny. Quit drinking at least until after April 28th or 29th or April 31st, May 1st, and now your stock, you might drop into the second, maybe even the third day of the draft. What are you doing, man? Just stay home, play some video games until the draft is over. Get your act together. Ice up, son. Make your millions. Get your billions back, America. Come on.
Get your billions back, Kenneth Lamar Williams.
Craziness.
He ain't getting his millions back, that's for sure. Some owners getting their millions back. All right, PJ, Mr. PJ. You know, when you said, who isn't there a PJ Hairston on the, who's the dude that came? Yeah. Okay. That's what I thought you were going to be talking about at first. When you said a mugshot, I thought, oh, gosh, that's who PJ. I was like, what did he do?
This guy, man, he's a borderline first-round pick. You know, I mean, there's
now he's a borderline third-round pick.
Yeah. I mean, it's stupid. crazy. It's exasperating.
It's exasperating. Joe, I wanted to come up. I had a good one. I had a guy that I had bookmarked on my tablet somewhere that he was talking junk about Justin Hardy. I cannot find my tab. Well, man, I don't know where it is. So this Panther fan goes on. So I'm going to give it a dual ice-up pick this week. This Panther fan goes on and was trashing Justin Hardy. Now, it's okay to not want to not want to draft him. But here's what he essentially said, is he said that his college career was overrated because he played in a crappy conference. Now, I don't know about anybody, but when you set the record for receptions in college football, I don't care if you play whatever school you played at, you would do that. It would happen more often if it had to go with a crappy conference.
Right.
On top of that, the Carolina Panthers, the ECU Pirates always play one of the top, if not the top, toughest out-of-conference schedule. So they play good quality teams outside. They play ACC teams. They play SEC teams.
What did they do to UNC Tar Heels?
Put up 70 on them. You know what Justin Hardy did his first as a rookie walk-on, what he did against the University of South Carolina, the Gamecocks? He put up 10 catches and 120 yards. He did that 3 times in his career against South Carolina. I'm pretty sure it was 3. If not, it was 2. The guy, look, it's okay to not want to draft this guy to the Carolina Panthers. It's okay to think that, to have some concerns about him. But you got to go ahead and just admit this is a great college football career. So,
and he's
so
a
whoever
walk-on.
you were.
He was a walk-on. Yeah, that's just somebody who's hating to hate. That's it.
Yeah, so there goes an ice-up pick there. And then the other one is obviously not surprising. Charlie Casellery. Casellery stick. Charlie Tuna Casserole.
Tuna Casserole.
Give up the hate on Cam Newton. All of you, the Tim Hasselbacks, all of you that feel better about yourselves, feel bigger about yourselves for trashing Cam Newton because he doesn't live up to the expectation that you've had, that you already knew that he could never live up to because you would never let him do it. Even if it happened, it would never be the right way, whatever it would be. In this baseless hate against Cam Newton, stop having to feel obligated to compare everybody to everybody and just recognize this. You've got a kid that's 25 years old that's been to the Pro Bowl twice. He's been to the playoffs twice. He's won a playoff game. He's won the Offensive Rookie of the Year. On top of that, he won a Heisman Trophy. He won a national championship, and he won a junior college championship. At what point does this guy, can we just say, hell, he's a pretty damn good football player?
I got a feeling at some point they're going to be saying he's only got 1 Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes, exactly. And, he played on a team where he didn't do it all by himself. Oh, wait.
Yeah.
He does.
Right.
So, Charlie Casserole.
The perfect story, I'll make this real quick. The perfect story of a Cam Newton hater was during the Arizona Cardinals game, 2011, his first game. Pre-game, Terry Bradshaw says, man, the Carolina Panthers made a mistake. If I were the general manager, this is Bradshaw talking, I would not have even have drafted him. Not only number 1 overall, but I would not have drafted him. He proceeds to go out and light it up against the Cardinals, throws for over 250 yards in the first half, 2 touchdowns. Halftime, Terry Bradshaw says, I love Cam Newton. Woo! That's a typical Cam hater. If they're not there yet, they're going to be there one day. You're going to come around and love Cam Newton at some point.
Terry Bradshaw, I hate everything about you except for your smoking hot daughter. So this goes out to this, is can we let people, man, can we not just celebrate some accomplishments every now and then?
Yeah.
Can you lay off the unneeded, unnecessary Cam Newton hate? We don't got to say, so here's to you, Tim Hasselback, Charlie, Tuna Fish Casserole, and all these other jackwagons that think that they could be a better armchair quarterback. Ice up, son.
Ice up. Tiny Tim.
Good job.
You're out of order. No. You're out of order. This whole court is out of order.
But I think it's good news, people, that you put them back in their place. What do you think?
I think so. I think totally.
This is good news, people.
Good news, people. In fact, I thought they were just going to applaud me at the end. In fact, why don't I give you guys an applause because you had a wonderful show tonight. You've been instrumental in making CarolinaCatChronicles.com the most up-and-coming Panthers website. And look, I think the back-to-back player interviews on the podcast is only a testament. Joe, from humble beginnings to stardom, how can they find you on your limited hours?
You can find me on Twitter at Joe Riolano. And please hit me up. You can catch me anytime from 9 in the morning till 10 at night. So you're out of luck today. But
I hope your boss is listening, man.
Yeah, I know, right? Me too. Yeah, please hit me up. We'll talk football. We'll talk Panthers. I've got some strong opinions, albeit, hey, I'm willing to admit when I'm wrong, and I have no problem admitting when I'm wrong. So, yeah, at Joe Riolano.
Mel, where can they catch you?
You can always catch me on Twitter at PanthersDrafter. Always talking Panther football, always got a conversation going on with somebody. It's an exciting time of year, but even more exciting than that, it's an exciting time to be a part of CatChronicles.com, man. We got some serious articles coming out. We got player interviews. We got the Fantasy Football League back up. We got the draft show. We got the draft itself. We're going to have a draft party on draft night. We got all kinds of fun stuff going on. But I'd be remiss if I didn't also mention that I'm the Panthers analyst over at drafttech.com. Great website. Check them out. There's a new mock draft coming out tomorrow. And, guys, it's my favorite one so far. So much so that I actually wrote an article that's going to come out right after Draft Tech post their mock draft explaining how and why we got the first 3 picks that we did. So you got to check it out. Go to CarolinaCatChronicles.com. Be a part of the conversation.
Look for the coolest images out there because I hooked my boy up with his Mach 3. I was excited. Guys, this is the C3 Podcast. You can check us out every Tuesday night at 10 p.m. Our work can be easily found at CarolinaCatChronicles.com, where you can find the podcast. You can find the audio podcast. You can find the video podcast. You can find right now the most up-to-date list of prospects that the Carolina Panthers have been meeting with and scouting. We've got them documented. You can find the hottest Panther fan takes. And next week, guys, we're going to have Panthers cornerback and special team specialist Teddy Williams, who runs, by the way, has world-class speed. World-class speed. Yeah, held a damn world record for over 4 months, I believe.
You talk about a guy coming from humble beginnings. He did not even play college football. Think about that.
I want to ask him this. I don't think I'm gonna have the courage to ask him this, but let me just say, I want to say, do you ever feel like a jerk that you cannot play, like you just walk onto the job and become a pro? You know, like what if you just like walked into my classroom and just started teaching and we're awesome? I would be like, you jerk, that you are so athletic and fast that you can just walk in and be like, I'm going to be the damn owner of a restaurant today. So I'm excited, guys. Player interviews, we got a lot coming down the pipe, so check it all out, CarolinaCatChronicles.com. Follow us on Twitter at @cat_chronicles. And you know what we like to do is talk Panther football, because without the fan, folks, football's just a kid's game. And that's the C3 Podcast, and we're out.